هذه اللي بربي تشوب هذه اللي. سي بون. بربي سكوبي اللوطة هنا شوية الفوق عالي برشا. So we have now 72 years old man. We did the upper digestive endoscopy yesterday, and we found gastric outlet obstruction. So 72 years, myeloma under chemotherapy, and vomiting since 2 months. And we see here on, I have only this picture of the CT scan. We have this long stricture here. So we'll proceed now to our endoscopy. So we'll use large channel scope. So usually I put a cap, but I won't do it because we did the gastroscopy yesterday, and we think it won't be really difficult. So to cross, it's 100, 1100 HU colonoscope with a 3.7 channel. So the first step will be to not to clean this colon. We just try to suck a little bit the liquid on the water here. We did it yesterday, but it was with a gastroscope, so we weren't able to clean everything. It's not really mandatory, but it's cleaner for me. So this is, we know that the liquid is in the antrum, within the fundus, sorry. So I know that the stricture will be in the antrum here, and I see it there. I don't know where I will put my guide wire. I, so my first step will be to push our wire. وخر لي كنت شويه لغادي ترى وطلعوا لي الطاوله شويه. So we see on fluoroscopy that we see the air, and we know that the stricture is there. So we are using a cannula with a guide wire 0035. I will just use the marker here to show you what is. So I think this is here our target. We see the air there. We see it reach now with our cannula. This is the cannula. This will get rough. So this is our wire. So I will just advance a little bit and try just to not to hurt this lesion here. And see if the wire can go easily or not. Stop, stop. So the wire crossed something there, so I will try just to follow my wire and see if I can get more. So we have to see the wire going in the second duodenum. وخر لي كنت شوية ترى. So I think we crossed here. Stop it. ماشي. وخر فيه وخر لي كنت شوية سكوبي زيد. خلي امشي توا. امشي 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 امشي. جابت اللوطة نورمال. بس استنى شوية. خلي. وخلي كنت شوية ترى. خلي. امشي ترى. امشي. مش هرجع لين انا امشي ترى امشي. So I don't see where I am, but I need to see my. We need to see the loop of the wire going down. امشي ترى ارجع امشي ارجع امشي ارجع امشي امشي ترى امشي امشي. So this should be هنطبق خطوة هنطبق دقيقة خندور معاك اجبد في شجرة خنزيد نقدم شوية. So I'm advancing. I want to see the shape of my second duodenum which I'm seeing there. اجبد في اجبد اجبد امشي ترى امشي 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 وخليك انت شوية ترى وخر خليك انت وخر زيد اهبط نقطة شوية. سي بون هكاك خلصت من الكلمة نتاعي لسه. This way this way this نحي this اقعد هكاك. So we have a loop now there. So I want to get out this loop. So I put some contrast here and we have to see our duodenum there. So we are sure this is our stricture there, but I need to have a guide wire straight without a loop here. خلي 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 امشي ارجع امشي 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 ارجع امشي 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 امشي. So the problem is I don't want to have a loop. ارجع 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 امشي اعطيني في الفيديو ارجع 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 امشي امشي كان جسمك طبعا تعدينا عملنا امشي 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 زيد امشي زيد زيد امشي 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 خلينا نمشي معك دقيقة. So ايش استنى شوية. خلي فيه خلي امشي كده. So we changed the wire. I think we have this رجع لك امشي امشي فاتك 5 ليراتeurs ما هتفيه اجبد 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 امشي ترى امشي امشي ترى بدل فيك بدله بدله دخل في الدخل بتاعك امشي ارجع امشي ارجع أرجع. امشي امشي. أرجع أرجع أرجع. امشي 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 امشي. مش هنخرج من السنتر. امشي امشي امشي. So what we will do now, we leave the wire there and go with the stricture term that we could change our direction maybe. And if you understand what I'm trying to do, we have to get this wire in the distal part of the second duodenum. And of course, without this loop, امشي امشي امشي. اطلق اطلق امشي بسرعة امشي. So the sphincter term, the difference between the cannula, we can change orientation by little pressure on the sphincter term. نظف طاولتك، نظف، نحك بالفيلجيد اللي يخلي غاد هز. اعطيها الفيلجيد. هز الفيلجيد هز. شد عندك مشكلة. So you see, it's looping here, and I have to go down to the duodenum there, but I'm not able to do it. I think the sphincter term can be more. Lot of loops in the first duodenum. So this is our sphincter. So here so and now I'm sure we can go. We will put on fluoroscopic view, and you will see we have our direction there. So I will go further distal with my sphincter. امشي ارجع ارجع امشي ارجع امشي ترى ارجع امشي امشي امشي. مقدم معك دقيقة. And this is what I need. وخر 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 ترى وخر. So this is the purpose. امشي 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 امشي. وخر 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 امشي. عملت النوتة شوية ترى. ارجع ارجع ارجع. عملت النوتة شوية. امشي ترى امشي. استنى شوية. ارجع امشي. اهبطت لي الراس اللوطة شوية. تعرفش معناها حاجتي بالسكوبي اللوطة تهبط. سي بون اقعد هكاك. امشي ترى. So we secure our wire. We see the third. امشي 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 هكا. ارجع ارجع امشي 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 امشي. مش حتى كمان بوك مش مشكلة. اجيكتور خاسرة. So this is the third duodenum. We see the distal part of our sphincter term. So now I will pull slowly back my sphincter term while نمشي في الجيل نمشي. And this is our stricture level. injecteur. اطلع لي لفوق شوية توا. Easy stop stop يعطيك هيك. Injecteur. So we'll put contrast to see where is our stricture. And if you see the tip of the sphincter term, it's here. Injecteur. And now I will just measure my stricture length. So focus on the distal part of the sphincter come there. So we have to release our stent there. And I will pull back slowly while inject, inject, inject. This is the stricture here. And we will need 9 centimeter will be okay, I think. Inject it. So this is our stricture. Ah, c'est bon. So now the next step with exchange, we leave the wire there. And you see how it's really secured in the distal part of the third duodenum. So we'll put some water in the sphincter term because the contrast is not helping to exchange the wire. And now we feel it better. So my next step will be the biopsy. So the wire is okay. So now biopsy, and then we will put our stent. So I'm waiting for some bleeding because we have the myeloma with low platelet. So I try to put my biopsy forceps on the place where the stent will be covering to make some compression in case of bleeding. This is necrotic here, so it's not necessary to make biopsy there, but in the distal part here, and this is some the tumor is just below here. Just to secure our wire, I don't want to lose anything now. هلا سكرة. حلنا البروتيز 9 سنتيمتر. So it's a wall flex duodenal stent from Boston, 22 millimeter large in the middle part. And أعطيني l'emballage يا ربيترا. And حلتها كيف حلتها. So I'll just show you 1 second. So I think it's enough with the biopsy. أعطيني l'emballage. So this is, it should be the stent we will use. So if you focus a little bit, it's a 22 millimeter in the middle, and the proximal part which we released in the stomach is 27. So we have last migration, and we hope it's, of course, it's an uncovered one. So we'll go now to insertion of the stent. So of course, always we put some water in the stent. I see exactly where is my stricture. We have some contrast there, and you see how بتلوطها شويه بسكوبي ولا طلعوا الطاوله شويه هذه اللي بربي. So we see that we have our wire really inside the jejunal loop now. اجبد لي يخرج قل لي. So we see this beautiful picture. I will switch to the endoscopic and fluoroscopic view. So we have this beautiful loop of the wire. So I'm advancing slowly my stent while the assistant is pulling back the wire. So the purpose is to take our time and just focus on the wire. We don't have to move it a lot on the endoscopic screen. We don't need fluoroscopy now. So you have to maintain the stent straight outside the scope. And this is our stent coming. So so I will push slowly without moving my guide wire. I need to cross, and you see this is the distal part of our stricture. So I can begin releasing here, and I just will push a little bit my stent to show you my proximal part, which is here. So we are really quite nice here. We have enough space, but I don't want to cover my papilla, which should be here. So if I release my stent here, I will pull back my scope just to show this is the proximal part, and always remember that it will shorten. So if I release here, I will meet some problem. So it's a distal release stent. So we can begin our releasing here, and then I will pull back just slowly. So we just will focus on the endoscopic screen also, but so we will just open. اسمع ايش وخر لك انت شوي ترى. So we'll open now maybe 2 centimeters 3, and to focus on the distal part, in the duodenum part. I'm not doing anything, but we see now the stent is moving. Stop, stop. And you see on endoscopic view, this is my proximal part, which we released. It's really not the best position here. And you see where is the stent there in the third, the end of the second duodenum. So I will pull back my stent. I need it to be released here. Here it should be okay. I'm sure I'm not near the papilla here. I hope I'm not near the papilla. So I will pull back my scope slowly because I want to see my releasing there, and this is not a good position. So I will advance a little bit, and this should be okay. Stop, stop. And always you see my proximal part. I'm not nice placed here, so I have to pull back all the scope and the stent at the same time, because don't forget it will shorten. Stop دقيقة. And you see now I see my stent. I'm okay for the distal part, and I will just push a little bit, and you will see where is my distal proximal part. It's just here. And this is how we can place the stent. And you see we are not in contact with the papilla. The stent is in the facing the wall of the papilla. We covered all the lesion. I can pull back slowly now my system. my sheet. So what I usually do at the end of the الحقيقة, we will take some contrast and inject it there. So this part of the stent is a 27 millimeter size, and the distal part is 22. So I just want to go here and injectment contrast. I will see how it will go directly. It crosses directly there. So we see the contrast here. Contrast going all in the duodenum, and the part which was blockaded is really opened now. And you see all the contrast. All the contrast crossed this stricture. So we'll switch to the endoscopic view. So we don't need to fix the stent, and you see we have maybe 2 centimeters here, and you see the larger part, it's okay. So we can pull back slowly, take our the CO2 we have inside. Of course, he can have liquid today, and he will be discharged probably this afternoon. So what is really important to notice here is the guide wire. You have to place your guide wire in the distal part, otherwise you won't be able to push your stent. If you have kept our wire inside the first duodenum, it will be impossible to go to the second duodenum and place our stent the best way it should be placed.